It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk movies in theaters, streaming, and classic films as well. Directors and actors, beware, as you cannot hide from the rage. My name is Bryce, and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim. Hey there, Jim.
Hey, Bryce.
And the Merman, who was hard at work at Cuff Docks this weekend.
Yo.
So I guess with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
Well, thanks to all who've been supporting us. If you love our independent podcast, please like, subscribe, share, and give us a 5-star rating on your listening platform, or support us and join the Film Rage community by joining our membership at buymeacoffee.com/filmrageyyc. If you cannot commit to a membership, you can still buy us a movie rental and dare us to see a terrible movie, and we'll watch it if it played anywhere in cinemas in the world. Now, let's get to raging. But first, here's a word from our sponsor.
Thanks, Foghorn. Hey, Bryce, what are you doing tonight?
I'm going to my favorite cinema, Canyon Meadows Cinema, to see the best second-run movies at the best price.
What? How inexpensive are they?
Regular price is $5, $5.
Regular price is $5. Makes me hope they also serve pizza.
They do, plus a lot of other great food choices. Plus, I'm planning my office Christmas party there. They can host a plethora of options for any get-together. Gaming, movie, drag show.
Drag show? Now I know where I'm planning my next party.
Hey, maybe you think there's a Liam Neeson or superhero movie planned?
I hope not. But maybe there'll be a great independent documentary.
Sure. Call CMC at 403-670-5444 to book a special event, or go online at canyonmeadowscinemas.ca.
What the Amazing Murman predict? What the Amazing Murman predict? What the Amazing Murman predict for this week? Will he tell you all the things we're going to see? And will he be correct like the Amazing Murman can? Oh, what's Amazing Murman predict?
He's done. Go ahead.
Yeah, you sure? Well, apparently there were 3 movies that were out in theaters. Not that I really noticed. The big one, of course, has Mr. Lee Phoenix. Oh, I'm sorry, Joaquin Phoenix.
That's his name, yes.
Playing yet another world leader who's drunk with power.
Drunk with power.
Because he used to be good at doing that.
There you go.
And, of course, directed by Ridley Scott.
Yes.
Who, quite frankly, isn't what he used to be.
Ooh.
He was always overrated.
I used to like him. Because of that, I think he may have been a Mondo that probably got bumped down to a meh because of his over-directing.
Interesting. Meh for who? Who are we talking
Both.
about? Oh, both. Double mez.
Murman predict.
All right.
And I
Next.
never freaking heard of the other 2.
Yeah, but you
Oh, I
must
saw
have
that.
watched
You watched the
trailer.
trailers.
The trailer, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to remember which one's which.
What the Amazing Murman predict?
Saltburn. That was.
Barry Keoghan.
That was the. Yeah, that had my girl Rosamund Pike in it.
It did.
Yes.
Yes, it did.
Well, I would read a phone book. I love her.
Well, you should watch this.
You should watch this.
And what's his name from the?
She does not
the
read a
Banshees?
phone book. Yes. Barry
Barry
Keoghan.
Keoghan.
So yeah, it seemed pretty quirky.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know that I
Full of
describe it that
adventure.
way, but
I think you guys might have mondoed that one.
Mondo.
Okay.
That is a bold
Statement.
Mondo. You are.
He's hitting. Where are we going from here? I don't know.
What the Amazing Murman.
Then, of course, the last one apparently is Nic Cage.
Oh.
It is.
Being Nic Cage.
Okay.
To the extreme.
Okay. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, see, I'm trying to remember a few of the last ones that he was in that you guys liked, and it seems like right up your alley. So, yeah. What the hell? Let's Mondo the shit out of those two as well.
Okay.
All right. This is very interesting.
Amazing Murman.
You think we agree on every movie this week?
Yeah, well.
Doesn't happen too often.
Amazing Murman.
Let's see if it happened this week.
Yeah. Actually, it doesn't happen quite often, but sometimes it just depends on the movie. Sometimes we just we're in sync. Simpatico.
Yes.
It's kind of like wah, 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 wah. You know, you should really be watching the production houses too, Murray, because those will give away a lot too. You know our thoughts on A24.
Yes, I also forgot to say that.
Yes.
I thought it was an A24 production.
One of them was.
One of them was.
What I'm talking about.
Okay. Yep.
All right, so what did we see first? We saw Napoleon Dynamite 2023
Sure.
with John Heder.
No.
And Michael Cera.
No.
Oh, we did see Michael Cera
We did
this
see
week,
Michael
though.
Cera, but
He was
not in this movie. Not in this
Oh,
movie.
right, yeah.
And
okay.
this is not Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, it's a different Napoleon?
It's Napoleon Bonaparte.
Oh, Bone Apart.
That is a completely different Napoleon. This
Yeah.
is the Napoleon
Oh.
that was born in the 1700s.
Oh, I didn't see that movie.
No,
I
think-
rewatched Napoleon Dynamite.
Did you?
Yeah, I was playing at a cinema, so I saw it.
Oh no, you watched the wrong movie, dude.
I think I could fake it.
You probably
Fake it till you make it.
Exactly.
You probably enjoyed that one more.
Go for Pedro.
Pedro. All right, Napoleon is directed by Ridley Scott and stars Joaquin Phoenix in the title role. This is, of course, about Napoleon Bonaparte, leader of the French Republic as first consul from 1799 to 1804, and then he led the French Empire as emperor from 1804 to 1814, and then again in 1815 for a little bit. But what this really was about was Ridley Scott and Joaquin Phoenix pretty much making fun of Napoleon for much of the 2.5 hours. There were some scenes that showed his military prowess as his tactics were far ahead of his opponents. There are some fairly impressive battle scenes, as you'd expect from Mr. Scott. Although I could have done without the exploding horse. There were times
That was
when
cool, though.
there were times when this felt rightfully epic, but other times it just felt utterly silly. This was so uneven, and not in a satisfying or constructive way, but just uneven.
Oh.
Sometimes I felt Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure took Napoleon more seriously than Scott and Phoenix.
Oh, there was a Napoleon. You could get behind.
Yes. Yes, the bits of making fun of his sex life were mildly amusing, but we did not need to see this repetitiously. There were so many, once would have been enough.
Yeah, I think so.
And maybe not, and if you're going to do that the way that you did it, maybe you don't do it in this movie. If that's the movie that you're making, make that movie. But I don't think that's the movie that you were making.
I don't think that was intentional, yeah.
But if you were making a serious movie about Napoleon, perhaps focus on the man instead of just making fun of him. I can honestly say that by the time Napoleon gets to Waterloo, I know no more about him than I did in the first 10 minutes of the film. There is no development, and I guarantee throughout that period of his life, he was not the same guy as you went through. There is no link. There is no inkling of the madman that led France. Just a very restrained man that I don't think represented the real person in any way. But Vanessa Kirby was good as Josephine.
She was great.
So that was worth watching, I guess. At the end of the day, I'm not sure Joaquin Phoenix was the man who should have been cast as Napoleon.
What?
And Ridley Scott seems to have a little too much disdain for the man to make a serious effort. Still, some of the battle scenes are epic. And some of the scenes that were played for laughs at Napoleon's expense were funny, but completely out of place. I don't know. Rage, meh. I think I like this film just enough to rate it meh.
Ding.
Whoa. What? Whoa.
I think I might have actually gone to it if Phoenix had not been cast in it.
All right. Well, you know what? Joaquin Phoenix was born to play pretty much anything he wants to play. I'm just saying. But, to be honest, I wasn't super feeling him in this film.
It's weird, right?
Isn't that
just
weird?
When you thought that he couldn't, there's nothing he couldn't play, well, there might be one thing.
Yeah, there may be one thing he could not play. Not that he didn't do a good job, but maybe the character just wasn't good enough for him. Ultimately, the story of Napoleon is a love story. One for the ages, as they might say. Anyone who knows about him and Josephine knows the story of boundless love. This retelling of that may not be as romantic as the story itself leads us to believe. This took its time to get to a point that I actually cared about the characters. It did finally get to a point I mostly cared, but not care a lot. And it took a long time to get me to almost caring a little bit.
Yeah.
But through the journey of me caring for the characters, I started getting bored with the story and just wanted it to end.
I almost cared too.
Yeah, me too. I just almost cared. I think what held this back from being enthralling was that it had to travel through so much of his life in such a quick time. He is such an interesting historical figure that I don't think a 2.5-hour film can really do him justice. The acting in this was all pretty good, except for Joaquin Phoenix. Mm-hmm. The set design, costumes, CGI, war scenes, and the man himself is a leader known for greatness. But this is a wartime biopic period piece, and those usually are not my cup of tea. Do they drink tea in France?
Of course they do.
Okay, I thought they just smoked cigarettes.
They don't drink beer.
What?
Oh, drink wine. Smoke cigarettes and drink wine. That's right.
Go.
I like the story of Napoleon, but maybe I just wanted a 10-part series, or maybe I just prefer my biopics to be documentaries.
Maybe.
Yeah. Almost everything that you say is exactly how I felt watching this.
Yeah. I mean, it's just weird that it's almost as if he made this movie so he could like just kind of poke fun at him.
And I don't know why anybody would do that.
Which is fine, I guess. I mean, if you want to have a little bit where it's for a little laugh, but there were repeated scenes in this where it's like, I get it. You know, for some reason you don't like the guy.
I guess.
And I mean, there's lots of reasons, don't get me wrong, not to like the guy.
But they didn't really show them in the movie.
That's the thing. Show me why.
There was no character development.
There was none.
As
I say, the guy that you see in the first 10 minutes is the same guy at the end of the movie, and there's no way that it's the same guy.
Yeah, he would have transformed. There was no transformation.
There's too much stuff going on. And he would have. It's just weird.
It's funny. I didn't really hate it.
Yeah.
I definitely did not love it.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that Joaquin and Ridley Scott, you're pretty lucky you're getting away with a meh.
Yeah.
So you know what that means, Murray?
It means nothing.
Ding dong. Yeah, you know what? So far, Murray's batting.
Away my mad button.
Murray's batting 1,000 today, people.
Batting 1,000 so far.
But
might be.
But now he says we're gonna go Mondo.
Yeah, what are the odds of that? But before we get there, I'm still not finished saying, like, what the fuck was this movie?
Well, that was the problem, is that it was very uneven. It was all of a sudden we're having weird, watching, Napoleon give me the lessons in how to make love to a woman, which was appreciated.
I always want to know that.
Exactly. So
apparently he wasn't
glad.
that good at it because she never had a smile on her face.
Oh, I thought that was...
No, she was never smiling.
No, she wasn't smiling, but
it was always a job for her.
Oh, I thought she was enjoying herself.
No, she never smiled.
So I shouldn't be taking tips from what he was doing?
No. Well, maybe some of the things, but most of the things, no. Yeah, there was too much. There was too much of nothing in this movie and not enough about Napoleon, which I really wanted to know more about. I mean, I know about him, but I really kind of wish that they talked a little bit about... I mean, they start the movie and he's like just all of a sudden steps into all this leadership. Like, he's already the captain of something. Like, where did he come from?
Yeah.
Where, like, did he grow up in the streets of France? even where he was in regards to the whole Marie Antoinette thing. Like, is he for it again? Like, they didn't really tell us anything. It was just, man.
That was a good way to start the movie, I thought, actually.
Yeah, it was kind of good.
I kind of like that.
Her losing her head was kind of fun. But yeah, I mean, I didn't hate it because I think the war shots were really cool.
That was the whole thing. There was some brilliance in this movie, but it was just
Joaquin Phoenix and Ridley Scott, or Tony Scott's brother, should we call him, were not the best things in this movie.
And it's widely regarded that this guy was a madman, and there was nothing in there. No. And we know that Joaquin Phoenix paid the Joker, for goodness sake, and he knows how to play a madman. He knows to play a whack job, And so I don't know what this script was. It was very
Apple,
strange.
I'm disappointed. Although you got to a mess, so whatever.
There you go.
Movie.
All right, well, so we saw a movie called Saltburn. Now, take single white female meets Fatal Attraction, except is a single white male, meets the aristocracy of London, England, and throw in a fucked up sociopath playing the poor country cousin whose parents are drug dealing addicts, supposedly, but with some amazing performances by Rosamund Pike, Richard E. Grant, Barry Keoghan, and the rest of the cast in this fucked up murderous murder thriller comedy drama. The characters are so well designed and deeply written, and Oliver, played by Keoghan, is a master of manipulation and subdued brilliance to how he takes over this family of wealthy, eccentric British aristocrats by basically flirting with or having sex with almost all of them. And if not directly with them, then with their grave or their cousins, with scenes like the very last scene where he dances around the castle-like mansion fully nude, or the scene when he violates the sister who's on her period, or the time he licks the semen water from the drain of the bathtub his man crush just jerked off in. I know this may sound a little twisted, which is definitely at times. It also is such a well-crafted sabotage of what appears is one of the wealthiest families in British over a period of 6 months. This film had me wondering what would happen next, but more importantly, how much more I could be completely mesmerized by this twisted tale that director-writer Emerald Fennelhas?
It's just Emerald Fennel. What are you talking about?
Fennel. Oh, Emerald Fennel, who has spun, it doesn't surprise me, her first feature and last she made was also Mondo.
No, it wasn't.
I can't wait to see what she does next and how that she has taken on the bourgeoisie and the patriarchy. I feel sorry for who she wants to destroy next. I thought her last movie was also a super Mondo.
I know you did, and I did not.
I know, because you didn't understand it.
I totally understood it. You were like mesmerized by the flashy colors and the pretty things.
And by the amazing story and what she did at the end.
No, it's not. Anyways. So you said this was Mondo, eh?
I did. So apparently Murray's still batting 1,000.
So far. All right, Saltburn is the best film I've ever seen that has its main character slurping up baby batter from the drain of a bathtub. It is also the best film that I've ever seen that has its main character make sweet love to a fresh grave.
Hey, I said that.
Almost every scene in Saltburn is delicious, and Emerald Fennel ups her game as a writer and director, although she had plenty of help from her stellar cast. This tale of the privileged few being infiltrated by an awkward Oxford University student is compelling and creepy and hilarious. Barry Keoghan is brilliant, as he always is, as Oliver Quick, a misfit that finds himself in the middle of a wealthy, eccentric family as they spend the summer at their home in the countryside called Saltburn. Jacob Elordi plays Felix Caton, the target of Oliver's desire. We just saw Elordi recently in Elvis.
Yes.
as Elvis.
He did a great job
in
in
Priscilla,
that, too.
and he proves his worth again as a charismatic young actor. I'm looking forward to this guy doing more stuff. Rosamund Pike and Richard E. Grant are brilliant as Elspeth and Sir James, Felix's parents. With Rosamund Pike making every scene she is in
she's
more
crushing
than
it.
memorable. Boy, she was good in this.
Yep, you would have loved it, Mur.
Alison Oliver as their daughter, Venetia, who has an unforgettable scene with Oliver that Jim touched upon. It's almost as memorable as the bathtub scene, although I'll never forget the bathtub
No,
scene.
me neither.
But back to Barry Keoghan. This guy's just flat out brilliant. And if he's in a movie, you know that the character will haunt you for days or months or years or the rest of your life. Oliver is another Barry Keoghan character that will stay with me. He is deliciously demented and creepy and brilliant. And Emerald Fennell shows that she is a writer-director that we need to pay attention to. I love Saltburn. It was Mondo.
Ding dong, Murray.
Imagine that.
Mondo!
Nice. So, where are we at, Bryce, with the Amazing Murman predictions?
Merman is 4 for 4. Batting 1,000.
Batting
100%.
That's right.
Perfection.
You know, Murray's probably making mental notes of the fact that if Keegan's in a movie, it's probably going to be Mondo too. So that obviously means when we get back to talking about the lists again,
We'll have to
we're going to have to talk about his history to see if he's
I only know
undoubted.
3 things he was in. But
And they were all
Mondo.
awesome.
Exactly.
I saw 2 of them.
All right. Well, we got to see another movie in cinema.
What?
Thank God we got to see it together. We did a threesome on that one.
A threesome.
Yeah. Remember?
What?
Was it a ballad about song and
I mean, we did a threesome on that. Oh yeah, there was me, you, and
Kim.
Kim came.
Yeah.
I remember.
That's right.
She was there. She was sitting right beside me.
That's right.
Oh,
So there was a threesome watching this movie.
there was a threesome watching this movie.
That's right.
And there were a few other people in the theater.
Yeah,
too.
there was a few more.
I think we were the only threesome though.
Yeah, I think so. Everybody else was like paired up.
Yeah, losers.
Losers, yeah. So we saw Dream Scenario.
Right, that's me.
Well, I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah, I got to keep this pretty short and sweet. Dream Scenario is the latest Nic Cage film, directed and written by Christopher Borgley. It follows a man that has his life upended as millions of strangers start dreaming about him. Nic Cage is that man. His name is Paul Matthews, and he goes from nobody to somebody as he becomes an overnight sensation, and he is the man of many dreams. The movie is brilliant, has brilliant scene after brilliant scene. I laughed out loud and enjoyed the film from start to finish. The scene where he finds himself in the apartment of a young woman that had been dreaming about him is worth the price of admission alone. Plus, we have a Michael Cera sighting, which just makes everything better anyways.
Yes.
I love Dream Scenario was Mondo. I'll let you expand on it.
What were you going to say, Mark?
As soon as I saw Michael Cera was in it, I knew you guys would love it.
Well, he's undoubted, so
Yeah.
there's a good chance he's
was
going
so
to pick
good.
a
I
good
don't believe
movie.
he was the only one. There was a few other casts that
Which
popped
is,
up too.
you know what, I'm going to say, because I gave Barbie a meh, so it's a good thing he was in this one, which got him back to Mondo. So now he's free to do a meh movie again then.
I think you just let the cat out of the bag there, Jim.
That's right. I mean, it's no surprise. Murray's on a roll. So
He's like butter.
he's like butter. If
on a
I'm going
roll.
to see a Nic Cage movie, I want it to be a super Nic Cage. Like Mandy or Color Out of Space or Gone in 60 Seconds. Or maybe the Nic Cage we got in Pig. What I don't want is a dial-it-in Nic Cage, which so many films from the 90s and 2000s were. This is a project that allows us to get as much Cage as we can handle with a story that is complicated, hilarious, poignant. And I'm hoping I will dream about every night until I die. This actually had Nic Cage at the absolute top of his game, from his level of wackiness to his level of acting that we've seen him in, that he can bring from, say, Pig. This was like the most dynamic I've ever seen him. Like, we've seen him wackadoo. I mean, that's just something that people expect now, is Cage being wacky Nic Cage, which he definitely was in this, but it was wacky and controlled, and then at other times it was so powerful. Like there's scenes in this that he had to act his ass off. This is a film about cancel culture, herd mentality, victimization, commercialism, and how David Byrne's large suit from Stop Making Sense may be the most potent aphrodisiac that's ever been created.
Oh yeah, baby.
Also, where it may or may not have had the funniest sex scene involving flatulence that has ever been created.
That's pretty good.
This starts out as a powerhouse, creatively written, outrageously funny film that had me laughing nonstop until a little over halfway through, and evolves further to deeper meaning, feelings, and characters where you completely feel what each person involved with Cage and Cage himself is going through this entire movie. There's not very many movies I say this about where the character development is, it almost does a right angle turn a little bit, but it takes to this wackiness to get super serious, and you really get to see what every single character, because the story takes us from them dreaming about him and he's just a participant in their dream. And then it goes from a participant to him being more involved in the dream, be it in some people in a sexual manner, but it turns into him into a violent manner. And there's a point in the movie, and Bryce, you and I talked about this. I don't want to put it as a spoiler, because if you haven't seen this movie, it's a must-see in cinemas if you can see it. But there's a point in the movie where one of the characters asks him, what changed in your life? And there was a moment that changed. And when that moment happened, that at that point from there, it turns from him being just in their dreams to actually now sort of being violent in their dreams, which completely changes the trajectory of the film. There is so much that goes on in this that I could talk about it for hours. It has horror, fantasy, sci-fi, tragedy, that if someone said this was written for the screen by Shakespeare and modernized, I might actually believe them. But what I mean is this film will be a classic for years to come and will hopefully be talked about in 200 years, just like Shakespeare is, I guess, still talked about now. Obviously not by me, but people still talk about Shakespeare. And I think people will talk about this film because it's so unique and so brilliant and so well written. It's like super, super duper mondo.
Yes.
Even Baxter liked it.
Yes.
So, okay, here's a question for you. I know it's hard to do this. Oh, by the way, Murray.
Mondo!
Murray is the Amazing Murman.
Nailed it.
Okay, which one of these did you like better? If you put a gun to your head, which film did you like better?
Between the
because they're both Mondos.
Saltburn?
Yeah. So if you were ranking this, if this was the end of the year and you're like, okay, what's my favorite movie? So for this week,
I actually put Saltburn marginally ahead of Dream Scenario. If I had to pick, I think I like Saltburn more, but that's hard.
It is hard.
They were both really, really good, and they're very different. Very different.
This is where we differ, Murray. This is the only thing we're differing this week. Is I would probably nudge out Saltburn
I don't blame
Dream
you.
Scenario.
Because it's Nic Cage.
No, I'm not.
Because it's Nic
not because it's Nic Cage. You know what? I think what was there was a moment in Saltburn where it might not have stayed awesome. For me.
Well, there was that moment in Saltburn where they did something that they perhaps didn't need to do.
Yes.
And tried to put a bow on things when they didn't really need to do that.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. But
where that didn't happen in Dream Scenario.
That's true. It did not
So that's why it nudged it out for me.
And because, but the ending that Saltburn ended up having, like the ending was tremendous.
Yeah, it was pretty tremendous.
But I will say that, yes, the way that the Nic Cage movie, the Dream Scenario, wrapped up was a better ending. But from beginning to end, if I'm looking at the whole thing, I still liked Saltburn just that much better.
There we go. So if these make our top 10 for this year,
Everybody
we're gonna see where...
Keep track of it, because they both make my top 10. See if I actually still put them in the right order.
We only have a month left until the new year, so
should remember.
hopefully you should remember. All right, well, you know what? When the Amazing Murman predicts, he really predicts.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think you've ever gone 6 for 6.
No,
It wasn't too tough this week.
No? I don't know.
Read you like a book.
I suppose so.
that's right.
It's the Hollywood blockbusters I'm never sure of.
Yeah, they could go either
They
way for
can
sure.
go
Either
either
way
way.
with you guys. The weird.
I mean, they're more
quirky one-
likely to be.
No, the weird quirky shit. You guys love that stuff.
We do, but sometimes it doesn't get it to Mondo. We've seen some quirky stuff this year that didn't make it
Took
there.
a chance.
Well, just like ABBA. You took a chance on me.
That's right.
Took a chance on me.
Yeah, if you're going to start singing a song, no more than 4 words.
Of ABBA.
Yeah, that's 4 words.
Something like that. Take a chance, take a chance, take a chance.
All right.
You predicting something else? Oh, no, this is our cuff music, which kind of almost sounds...
This is the
Oh,
button.
yeah, I
This
like
is the
this
button
music.
he wouldn't let me push.
I wanted to go to Cuff Docs so badly,
Yeah,
and I was sick as a dog.
you were.
I would have just infected everybody with my
With your
whatever it was.
grossness.
with my gross, snotty cold.
Yep. Well, thank God you didn't, because I didn't want to get sick.
No.
So everyone, please, if you're listening to us, just pause it after you hear this. Go to the CalgaryUndergroundFilm.org and take a look at what they had for their documentary fest. Bryce has already mentioned the Merman was the projectionist for this festival.
Yeah.
So everybody had a good time, and Cuff always puts on a great party. So if you're ever in
Party.
Calgary and you want to have one of the best film festivals, Cuff Docs is it's kind of a short one. It's not like a full week,
No, it's
so
5 days.
you can cram a lot in.
And they also have yearly stuff, monthly almost.
Yeah, exactly.
The next one coming up, off the cuff, as they call it,
Yep.
is called the Iron Claw, which, if you're a wrestling fan,
Yes.
is about one of
We wanna see that.
America's biggest wrestling families.
Yep.
The Von Erichs.
And a special guest appearance
By one of the Von
by
Erichs.
Mr. Brett the Hitman Hart.
Oh, how is he a Von Erich?
He's not.
Well,
he
he's a wrestler.
He
He
wrestled.
wrestled
He
him.
wrestled Kerry Von Erich
Oh,
a
he
bunch of
wrestled him.
times.
Well, they probably were friends, maybe.
But I maybe sold out, but you may get tickets to the door. So that's in Calgary if you
Cool.
happen to be in this area. That's there's another one coming up in January. I can't remember. I think it's a Japanese one. I can't remember what it's called. But
Oh.
yeah, go to the website and find out what they've
Yep.
got going on.
I'm going to mention 4 of the films that were at the festival that were Mondo for me. One was called King Cole, which is the storytelling and oversight doc of an area in West Virginia coal country, which allowed me to absorb why the people involved and living under the rule of King Cole. This was a really, it was a transformative doc, really, because I could not understand whether or not the director actually was a huge fan of Cole or not. And I love that about it. So it wasn't like, filtered through a bias. It was just, this is the town I grew up in. This is what I grew up with. And you could see the negatives and positive of Cole and how it affected the people around him. That it's a must-see doc if you, especially if you're on the green side of things, like we are here on Film Rage, or if you're on the Cole side of things. So, must-see. Another one is Enter the Clones of Bruce Lee.
I really wanted to see
It
that.
is so good. It's it basically talks about, Bruce Lee was such a phenomenon, and that the clones of Bruce Lee were all the Bruce Lies and the Bruce Lays and all of the clones that came after Bruce Lee, and what he had an impact on our society, and what he had an effect on Hong Kong action films in general. So must see. The other one is the J-horror virus.
That's
Is that the one you're talking about?
I was going to go to that one too.
Yeah, well, it sounds like Murray said it might be coming back. So this one is the origins of the J-horror craze and all the directors that are involved in it. It's if you are a J-horror fan like we are on Film Rage, also this is a doc for you because it really does go through all of the really good stuff and why it is so good. So it's definitely a geek fest. And then the last one is called Queendom, which was, I think, their closing film. And
night, it won one of the awards.
Yeah, it's amazing. The person who is the Queendom is if you imagine how tough it is to be a drag queen in the US and Canada, if you think that's tough, try being a drag queen in Russia. So anybody that wants to support drag in general, see this film. It's amazing. I'm sure someone's going to pick it back up. It obviously won some awards, like you said.
Yeah, It was one of the top ones voted by the audience.
Nice. It's pretty amazing.
Along with, I think the other one is what was the name of the band those two women were in? I want to say Indigo Girls.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, the opening night one.
Yeah.
That one also won.
Yeah. You know what? Cuff doesn't play bad docs. They just
don't mess around.
Nope, they don't mess around.
Right.
That's it. That's all I got to say.
Right
Go
there.
check it out.
Yep.
Oh, baby. Nothing brings the joy more than the myrrh.
Really
I don't know. That was a pretty big sigh before the Murman music kicked in.
I really got nothing.
What?
Nothing.
Maybe I'll throw a little love Nic Cage's way. As you know, I'm not a big fan of his really out there stuff.
Yep.
I didn't like Pig.
Well, that wasn't really out there.
Unbelievable, massive talent, whatever the hell that was.
Yeah, that wasn't that good.
That wasn't that good either.
I liked it.
He was a man.
I will then list some of my favorite Nic Cage movies, which
That's
you
good.
guys probably don't agree with.
Well, maybe.
Possibly.
Possibly. Obviously.
Is Raising Arizona on the list?
Of course, Raising Arizona.
Well, no, it's a
well,
great
then
movie.
I'm happy already.
That's
There
right.
you go. But the other ones
Is Bangkok dangerous?
Oh, no.
Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yes!
Boo.
It's so good!
Boo.
It's so
Con
good!
Air.
Boo. Boo.
There's so many good characters in
Face
Con Air.
Off.
Face Off.
Those were the movies I enjoyed Nic Cage in. So there.
That's awesome.
That's all I got.
Temperature rising. Vision blurring. Rage taking over.
Oh, sweet, sweet rage, how I love you so. You flow through me like water to the ocean.
Like snot through a goose.
Like snot through Bryce's snotty face.
Like the Force through Luke Skywalker.
Like the Force through Luke Skywalker's ass when he's got Force-like diarrhea. My rage this week is, can they stop making American biopics? Like, they're just not great. Like, we talked about this before, how...
You mean Americans making biopics?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the thing.
Because this wasn't an American biopic.
I know.
But it was Americans that making a
biopic. Yeah, exactly.
Wasn't it made by a British dude?
Well, I think there was probably some British influence. There was like a ton of Brits in it. But, and that usually... You know what? If it was probably 100%...
I think Ridley Scott resides in Yankee Land now.
Yeah,
though,
but he's
doesn't
still Brit.
Well, no, is he?
He's got the accent. I'm pretty sure he was born in
Okay,
England.
well, that doesn't make him...
Just saying.
All right.
Well, the countries of origin is United Kingdom and United States,
There you go.
which
Surprisingly
as
not
much as there is a lot of genres that the U.S. does well.
Yeah.
The Brits usually do biopics much better. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that it was probably an American production to start.
Yep.
And then they said, you know what? Let's not make this a rage. Let's add in something British to push it up a little better. And I think that's what probably happened.
Okay.
It's just You know what? I kind of just want them to release Napoleon the documentary now. And I'm kind of really... I've never said this, but I'm really disappointed in Joaquin Phoenix in this.
Yes, I know.
Well, it also doesn't help
Plus,
to cast an American as a French guy.
With the tone of the movie, they might as well have cast John Heder as Napoleon Dynamite
that's
as
exactly,
Napoleon Bonaparte.
That would have... That's the movie
Oh,
I
he brought the
thought
guy
it
back
was.
from Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
Or bring that dude from Bill and Ted.
Which one?
The
Bill or Ted?
Napoleon.
The first,
Oh.
Napoleon, the first one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, him. He was awesome.
The guy who was actually French.
Yeah. Although he'd be a lot older now.
He was eating that
whatever.
big Sunday, and he was the... What was
right.
it? Piggy something. I
Yeah.
can't remember.
That I wish that was the guy who played. That's
the
my.
guy they
That's
shoulda cast.
thank you. You got me to where I needed to be. My rage was they needed the dude who played Napoleon from Bill and Ted.
There you go.
And
Would
well,
have been so
Bryce
much better.
Bryce is raging. I'm going to find out who it is.
Fair enough. My rage is really short, so be quick. My rage this week is I got sick last weekend for the entire duration of Cuff Docs, and I didn't get to see one blinking film. Not cool.
Yeah,
Not
you're
cool at all.
not cool.
Wah, wah.
Yeah. And more importantly, though, the actor who played Napoleon from Bill and Ted,
Yes.
his name is Terry Camilleri,
Terry Camilleri.
who's been in a lot of things,
Actually,
actually.
it doesn't sound French.
No.
So
but
he's a really good actor.
He was super actor.
Yeah,
That's-
I mean, he can act French,
Yeah.
which apparently Joaquin Phoenix can't.
Can't. Yeah.
And Steve Martin also cannot.
Yes,
No.
that is 100% obvious.
And neither can Kenneth Branagh.
No, and Kenneth Branagh can also not. So if you're going to make a movie
Isn't
that's
technically he
that's
Belgian though in those.
Is he?
I don't, you know
I
what?
don't even
They
know.
speak French
I don't
in
think
Belgium.
He's French. I believe.
Oh, yeah,
in
he's Belgian. I don't know.
They speak French in Belgium.
He
though.
loses me in the beginning of those movies, and I never get it.
Never
back,
get it
so
back.
I don't mind them.
So ultimately, the message of our rages this week,
Yes.
you know, because yours is dumb, is
My rage
is
is
that
good.
is that
It's the best rage
if you're
I ever
gonna
had.
if you're gonna make a movie
I don't
with a
get
French
sick.
actor that isn't French,
But I've
put
been sick
Terry
twice in the last
Camilleri
3
in it.
months.
There
I
you
don't know
go.
what's
That's
going
the
on.
rage. That's the rage.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm dying.
maybe.
Possibly.
Rage subsiding. Pulse slowing. Anger fading.
Well, that's all.
That's all we got.
That's pretty much all we got this week.
right,
Now,
then.
I'm going to put this out here because we are going to be having our annual Krampus special, and because we've had so much going on in our little worlds that we all live independently but also together, is that if there's someone that's listening to our episode this week and you think you have the balls and ability to be on the Film Rage's Krampus special this year, reach out to me on social media. There is 3 movies that you will have to watch. And the first one that comes in, you will get to be a guest on it. We still have
What?
no idea
You
when we're
discussed
doing
this
it.
with me.
We don't know when we're doing it. But if you're listening and you want to be on our show, just know you've got a lot to do. And Bryce is picking some pretty terrible movies.
Is he?
So be ready. Just throwing it out there.
Whatever.
Now, thanks, Ragers, for listening. Thanks, the extended Film Rage family. You can find in our show notes. Thanks to Casey, the nerdy photographer, and the fourth honorary member of Film Rage, and the voice of Rage or Dare. Find us on social media everywhere at Film Rage YYC. Check out everything Film Rage at filmrageyyc.com, including our merch site for our Redbubble and TeePublic. We're always wanting to make this a raging blast for all listeners, so please comment, like, subscribe, and share, and give us 5 stars everywhere. And email us at filmragecalgary@gmail.com. Dare us to see terrible movies to fuel our rage, but no matter what you do, please, 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 pretty please, 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 make us a rage. That's it for this week. A rage on!
Rage on.